Coming to you live.
Yes, live.
Live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
It is Wednesday. This is the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin' Sills, joined by my man who loves peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch in the Ref Room, and that is Brad Baumrock.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the show, everybody. Lots to talk about today. We're going to go through a lot of situations, actually, I think is the plan. So Brad and I are going to kind of walk through a bunch of these things. But before we get started, we have a very special birthday, and we wanted to acknowledge Frank Pilati. So happy birthday to you, Frank. Thank your wife for that because she reached out, and that was really nice of you, Kara. We appreciate it. Kara or Kara? I'm not positive. I think it's Kara.
I think it's Kara, but
Okay.
I'm not too good with names. So,
But either way,
happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Frank. Thanks for checking us out. And I know a lot of you guys know Frank and have worked with him, and he's a great guy. So appreciate him watching the show. And if Kara watches the show, we're awfully glad to have you as well. So getting into it, well, let's start. We already got comments coming in. Our friend, Mr. Scott Gaffney, is on his way to Iowa. He's in Iowa, actually, with Brian Fisher, going to Omaha. So I imagine those guys are going to work some national tournaments. So thanks for checking in. We appreciate you guys. I'm sure you'll come back with some great situations that you'd probably love to share on the show. I know that they had an interesting excursion the last time they went there where their car basically caught on fire. So
Yeah,
there's never a dull moment, never a dull moment when you're a referee and you're chasing around from rink to rink, but you guys know that. So with that being said, let's talk about some different things today. And I think actually Brad wanted to kick it off because the first thing that he brought up to me is appearance going to games. Is that what you want to talk about? What's appropriate,
Yes.
what's not appropriate?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
we all know the dress code for the games that are like playoff games. At least we should know what the dress code is. We don't always, but yeah, we should talk about that because so much of what we do, we always say is, it's our appearance, it's perception. So
Right.
Brad wants
So
to
the
have that.
first thing
He's
is-
got his backwards baseball cap on.
That's-
Just
that
setting
was-
the tone right there.
I put it on to prove a point that we've been I haven't worn a hat except for my winter hat a couple times lately, and then one day we did the sunglasses, which I think we're going to do that again just as a cameo for fun one day.
Right.
But
Should have done that for the April Fool's show. Okay, that would have been the way to go.
No, what we should have done is we should have just put 2 blank cameras up and seen how long people would stay.
Yeah, probably not long.
No, but like the backwards hat, I wear still a hat pretty much 365 days a year, and it's normally backwards, but try not to show up to a game with a backwards hat. But
Well, what do they say? If you're going forward, your hat should be forward. If you're going backwards, then your cap should be backwards. Something like that.
I'm a big fan of hats, but I get where people automatically make it look like it's laziness. So I get it.
Wait. I have to interrupt the show because it is
Go ahead,
Kara,
I thought.
like Sarah. So that is correct. I can't pronounce the Russian spelling that they have up there, but it certainly works. So yeah, Kara, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And happy birthday to you, Frank. All right. Had to take care of that. By the way, if you guys are new to the show, if you'd put in the comments new, we'd love to say hello to you. Okay. So if first time you're checking out the Ref Room, we do this every Wednesday at noon. Brad and I, we have had some really great guests on the show. And if you have an idea, not even like a topic for a show, but if you got a question about hockey or a situation you'd like for us to discuss or cover, feel free to either put it in the comments at some point, ask questions. We are here to help. That's part of what this show is based on, was hockey conversations that we have in the Ref Room. And there are some great conversations in the Ref Room, everybody. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff today. So we're into appearance because, again, perception is everything. And, whether it's your uniform, having a clean referee jersey, having, your helmet shiny, your visor clean, white laces in your skates, pants that fit you correctly. You see referees that have, that look like they're doing 90s hip hop and they're almost down by their skate blades, or their jersey is 2 sizes too big, or in some cases 2 sizes too small. These are all things. I mean, that first impression that you make with a coach goes a long way. Here's the big deal. If a coach sees you come on the ice and you don't look the part, in their mind, I don't care how great a referee you are, how great a job you do, you're going to have to prove that you're the best referee, and that may take some time. As opposed to if you come out and you hit the ice and you look like a referee, now you got to screw it up for him to say, oh, this guy's not really a referee. So, it's a lot easier on you if you look the part going out there than it is to not look the part and try to make up for it. Because they are going to form an opinion, and so are the parents, and so are the players, and so are all the other fans that are watching the game. Go ahead, Brad.
Well, Scott, I think the point that you're trying to make is they don't like us already. So why make it already difficult?
They don't like the uniform, as you like to say, which is a great line.
They don't hate us. They hate our uniform. Something about vertical stripes. Yeah. The second when people see vertical stripes, they automatically disagree.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if they're sitting on their couch at home watching the game, or if they're sitting in the arena, or they're a coach or a player. They automatically disagree with us, and it's a position of authority. It's like the cop that pulls you over, and you're not happy about it, right? So you give them crap because they pulled you over. Well, you're the guy that was speeding, or you're the one that didn't use your turn signal. You automatically disagree with them, and it's part of our job. So we just have to take it and understand it. Just don't make it harder on yourself. But we were still getting into the building, Scott, and you went right into the uniform.
I'm sorry.
Please
walk into the building.
The big thing is the backward, like a backwards hat's an easy one to correct. The other thing is, like, a lot of people still to this day take jeans, and jeans aren't considered a business casual. Okay. And even though a lot of circles of life, they are.
All right, so
But-
I'm going to probably
Go ahead.
be the first one to argue with you here. And Brad and I have a lot of discussions, and most of them take place after 1 o'clock in the morning on the phone, and they go on for long
12:30.
periods of time. Yes,
It was 12:30 last night.
yeah. And your phone finally died at 1
it
something
died.
after like 8
was
million
like-
texts too. So
Yeah, it
we
was-
didn't
it
even
was
just
like-
have the phone conversation. We had the text that went with it. But, you know, look, I know you guys are big on khakis. I know the referee community loves khakis.
I know.
I don't always agree with that, because I think you have to look at how a person dresses and how it comes off, because you can have a pair of $10 khakis that look like you got them from 6 flea markets ago that don't fit properly, but they're khakis, so they're acceptable, versus somebody that walks in there with a pair of $200, jeans on that fit perfectly, that are absolutely cut to kill. I mean, they're awesome, and I don't agree with that. I'm in a creative industry. We don't wear khaki. It's
I get
frowned
you.
upon. Okay, like that's not what you wear. It's not a golf. We're not going to a golf outing. And if you were going to a golf outing, there's guys in khakis that look really great. Turn on the TV and watch the Masters and see the guys in khaki, and then go see some other people that are wearing khaki. So I'm not one to agree with this. Same thing, like, we will send people home for wearing gym shoes. But are you wearing dad gym shoes, or are you wearing a pair of $400 Yeezys that are brand new out of the box that, like, you have to buy from like a stock market to get it? Okay. It's a whole different look. So
I get you, but
I am not one to agree with this.
we're-
And this
But
could
we're-
be a serious discussion. So we might have to forget all the other topics today and just talk about like fashion, if that's the case, because
well, it's not just fashion though, Scott. It stems down from the higher levels of hockey. When those guys come in, they're wearing suits. They're required to wear suits. Like I don't think anybody wants to say to an amateur official, maybe you don't do anything really where you require a suit. And maybe you don't go to weddings, maybe you don't go to funerals. So you might not even have a suit. We're not going to make you buy a suit.
Right.
For those type of events. It's just the idea of trying to make yourself look better than, coming in your ripped up jeans, and it's acid wash jeans. Somebody just put in the comments, Brad Bummer looks great and everything. And of course they're a Facebook sniper.
Again, this is going to be a tough one, and I get where we are going with this in terms of trying to look neat and clean. I think it's more about being neat and clean, your clothes looking presentable, and your clothes fitting you properly. But I think you could do that with a pair of really nice jeans as well, and a nice shirt. You could wear a shirt and tie with jeans and a sport jacket and look really cool and pull it off, or not even wear a tie. Turn on an award show and see who looks good and who doesn't look good
The
based
question
on
I have,
what they
Scott,
put on.
the question I have though is I want to go back to something that you said, and this is just a personal thing. Do
Okay.
you really spend $200 on a pair of jeans?
Have you been shopping before?
I'm never going to spend $200 on a pair of jeans.
You could spend $300, $400, $500 on a pair of jeans. You just have
Yeah.
to. I mean, I get it. I'm just saying,
I'm with you.
Look, you can go buy a pair of Levi's for, $20 at a store, or you can go to the Levi's store and buy a pair for $100 because that's what they cost. Now, can you get them on sale? And I don't want to go through like shopping. I'm not trying to go crazy here, but there's the thing like dad jeans that came from the 90s that don't fit with an acid wash that don't look good. I don't care if they were brand new or not, versus a pair that's contemporary, that's a dark shade of blue that looks proper, fits proper. They're not 4 inches too long. They're not 4 sizes too big. That's where I'm going with this, because you could do the same thing with khaki.
Right.
And you have guys that show up in those khakis like that look like they were their dad's khakis from 20 years ago. It's not a great look either. but they're khaki, so it's acceptable, and that's where I'm going with this.
I
And
get
it's
you.
the same. It's the same with your ref uniform. You know, if your pants are hanging down almost to your skate blades, and they're torn up, they've got cuts in them and rips. It's not a good look. I don't care if they're Stevens or Reek or whatever the name brand is of the clothes. It just doesn't look good because they don't fit properly. You know, look at what an NHL referee looks like when you look down. You see where their pants fit, how they fit, how their jersey fits, their jersey, the sizing of it. You know, they all look pretty consistent. Now, yes, those guys make a lot of money, and that's something else. Sweater, jersey,
Let's get it right.
whatever. Okay, you know, crest, patch, whatever you want to call it.
If you're a college professor, you can put patches on your elbows.
Right.
All right. Other than that, you're wearing a crest. All
Okay.
right? Let's get the terminology right.
Exactly. That was my point of bringing that up, of course. But
I know.
But no. So you know, let's talk about some of this stuff because we're actually going to talk about referee salaries today. We posted an article on Facebook. I don't know if you guys saw that, but you know what referees make in the NHL, and actually compared to some of the other sports like NFL and NBA, which is kind of surprising. But we'll cover that. Let's keep on this subject here. So,
Well, I think the ultimate point that we're trying to make is don't show up looking like somebody that just woke up in the side of the street after all night drinking. Let's put it that way. You know,
Agreed.
get up, get to your game. You know, try to get there
cutoffs,
a little early.
Cutoffs and flip flops probably don't send the best message when you walk into the rink unless it's 95 degrees out and it's a summer practice game, I guess.
You know, you can get a shirt and cut the sleeves off of it.
Yeah.
You know, come on in. You know, especially
Tank
I enjoy
top.
the one.
Yeah.
Well,
wife
I
beater.
enjoy the one. Well, I enjoy where people have their sleeve and it's cut so far down that you can see like their whole side. I'm like,
Yeah.
like what's the point of even wearing a shirt?
Usually
at this
that's for
point?
the guys that have tattoos because they want you to see all the tattoos. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, I was in a rink the other night and one of the players walked in and he had that, and it was like 50 degrees outside, but he wanted everybody to see he had the tattoos. So, you know, that's what they wear.
Good for him.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Well, let's keep going on this because, you know, we do need to talk about appearance.
Yep.
You got anything else you want to cover in terms of like?
No, I think that's all good.
That's
you know,
it.
I mean, you know, I did see an official the other day. I was at a rink reffing and I saw an official and he had very, very blue hair.
Blue hair.
But I don't know who he was, but
Was that
saw him there.
gray hair that became blue hair, or was that
no,
dark
it
hair
was-
that became blue hair?
it was dyed.
Okay.
It was he was a
Can
high
you see
school
it when
kid.
he puts the helmet on?
No, you couldn't see it when he
Okay.
had. I didn't.
So-
He came in the locker room and took his helmet off, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Okay.
But I didn't ask him who he was, or he was a high school kid. And I just let it go. Like, I was like, I'm not
Well, you
going
know,
to say
I've seen
nothing.
a little different fashion with the referees that are high school students. You know, they tend to wear hoodies underneath their referee sweater.
Referee sweaters. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, I've seen that too, and you know, they do things a little differently, but you know, you just got to school them a little bit. You know, guys, stickers on the back of your helmets, take them off.
That
If you
was gonna
can't
be-
take them off, put some black electrical tape over the stickers so you can't see it. If you go,
Yeah.
you know, if you're going to start working, what is it, the junior levels and some of the upper elite leagues, they don't like the logos. Now, am I taking
Right.
the
Well, they could
CCM
have
off my
sponsorship
helmet?
agreements.
Right?
They could have sponsorship agreements. So that's the one reason. Plus, just referees have kind of taken it to an extreme. There's some guys that go out and they get their helmets painted at card plate.
They look
places
nice.
that-
I've seen those, and I know a few of my friends that have had that done. They do look good, but you know, you could just
you don't
buy
have
some
to go that far.
Kiwi shoe polish in clear and put that on your helmet. You get it and you just brush it on your helmet, and your helmet will look great. It's a nice look, guys.
Well, do you remember when back in the day when there was toe paint for
Yes.
skates?
Absolutely.
I remember-
It was called what was the toe paint? It was heel and
can't remember.
toe. It was heel and toe back in
Yep.
like my growing up days. And then they had something else. And the guy to ask is Joe Prescott. Joe will tell you what it is because he still has something. He uses something on his helmet. He doesn't get it painted by a car place like you can do, but he uses something that they use on a floor that polishes up, but he lightly sands the thing out. I mean, he looks great with it.
What you did is you took the heel and toe. You're exactly right. You're going down the right path, and you covered it once, right? Then you'd take it and you'd sand it, and then you paint it again, and then you sand it. You paint. There were guys that would look like your car hood. I mean,
Joe
it
puts
was
new white laces in his skates before every game, and I think that even goes for a men's league game. He will not go out without absolutely pristine, perfect white laces. So it looks great on the ice, guys. I've seen guys use the what's the Mr. Clean, the white sponge that they have. The eraser, and they go on the skate took and they take all the marks off their skates, and that's how they keep them looking really nice. So there are some little tips and tricks for looking great out there on the ice. And of course, we have a comment here that says Brad Baum looks great in everything. There you go. So thank you for that. Ben Savage, 12-year official, new to the ref room. Ben, thanks for joining us. Glad to have you here. Mason says, don't hate the zebras. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely right. Andy Hudson, one of our friends and one of our regular guests here, says Tux is required for all games above squirts next year. Tuxes are out of style, Andy. I don't know if you know that, but, that's not the look you want to go for. You don't even see them at the weddings anymore. Matt says $200 jeans are definitely worth it. Yes, they can be.
That's amazing.
Let's see what else
I'm getting my Brett Favre.
I never understood why hockey players wear suits. They're about to play an athletic game. Other sports wear warm-ups, etc. Well, that's interesting. I think that, going back even to the 70s, I'm going way back, guys. But when I was growing up, we used to have, you got team jackets. And as you got a little older, they expected you to put a shirt and tie on for the game with your team jacket. And, you see the players coming off the bus. If you watch Hockey Night in Canada, when they arrive at the rink, most of these guys, they all have really cool, hats that they wear. But, the hat is like their flex of fashion. And then, of course, they've all got the, the suits and looking good. And if you watch any of the Hockey Night in Canada shows, sometimes they go behind the scenes and go into the people's houses. And, they have a closet full of suits. So, yes. Let's see. Andy says, Scott Gaffney, is the rental car on fire yet? Let's hope
they
not.
They are going to Omaha. And,
they are.
And if you look a little further down, he has a response in there. They're having a whole conversation.
Okay. People with blue hair are up to no good. I don't know about that. I think
that's my neighbor.
There's a lot of women out there that have blue hair that are a little older, and I think there's some guys too. Okay, I arrive fully dressed in equipment. Yeah, we all do that once in a while, especially when we are running from rink to rink. You can't help it. Andy Hudson says we're driving Fisher's Honda, which has been maintained very well. Okay, very cool. Here's the other stuff. Proto. A couple people responded with Proto.
Thank you.
So here we go. Protecto from Brett. Yeah, I knew it as heel and sole is what we had when I was a kid growing up. That's what they used. And Andy says Armor All wipes to shine up the helmet. Rookie on crew's job always. Yeah, that might work very well, actually. I think most of us use the Kiwi. It's a little plastic container. You buy it at like a Walgreens or a Walmart, and it's got... a little sponge in there, and you buy the clear and you just wipe it on there a little bit, and it looks really great. We have one more comment here too. Karen's chiming in. Khakis started out as an easy way to form a uniform as religious schools did. They got picked up by the professionals such as athletic trainers, did khakis and a school top, adopted football coaches, and are now a go-to for a casual look. Yeah, that is very true. And, ask J. Crew. They make a fortune off selling khakis. So, yep, that works. I guess that's business casual.
You could wear linen pants, Scott.
Linen pants. That's right. I
don't
have any linen pants, but thank you.
Well, I'm just saying you could. They're still pretty good looking.
Okay.
Right. I think the point was don't make it hard on yourself, because it's amazing, to hear coaches and stuff talk. if the guy comes in and he's dressed really well, they have like an ultimate opinion already that they're going to be better than they possibly ever will be.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a nod at, everybody. And it's just trying to make yourself not hated. Like we said, the vertical stripes thing really, really gets to people. So let's not make it any harder on ourselves. Let's show up, work hard. That's another thing. Your appearance too, work hard.
Absolutely.
Don't be like, I hate when I see a referee and their shoulders are slouched the entire game and they're slouching. Stand up straight. It's an easy thing to do. It makes you look interested, or you got the guy with 1 foot and he's got his heel up, he's got his toe up and his heel while he's standing on the blue line, so his foot's up like this off the ice.
Don't be afraid to smile a little bit. Look like you're having fun out there. Don't look like you're angry. You want to kill somebody. I mean, we have some refs that just never smile. They don't look happy out on the ice. It's not a good look. I mean, smile once in a while, be personable, conversations go a long way, a little humor with players once in a while go a long way. They're human. You got to show that you have a human side too, so that you can be somewhat relatable, so that when you do have that discussion, I had a player last night, didn't realize, now these guys have been playing men's league forever. And the guy's got the puck on the blue line. He's never brought the puck in the zone. The guy stays on the blue line with it. And then he finally comes in after 3 other guys are in the blue line, and he gets called for offsides, and he can't figure out why he's offside. Well, you never crossed the line. How long you been playing men's league? How long you been playing hockey? But these are the discussions you end up getting into. So, having a little humor with funny. That is can be a little bit more entertaining and fun for all. So, do what you can, guys, to keep it light out there.
Scott, it's real easy to yell while you're playing or coaching or whatever. But I can vouch for referee seminars when we go out and we do the icing. We do a simulated icing drill. So all it is one person with a stick shooting pucks down the ice, and the referee's determining if it's icing or not icing. And did it cross the goal line? Did it not? You'd be shocked at how many mess ups we have in these seminars. And it's like, we're just asking you to watch one person with the puck, shoot it down the ice. And this isn't happening. I go, seems a little more difficult now, doesn't it? I go, imagine 12 players out here. The puck's flying around. They're hitting each other. You have to move. You're standing still right now. I go, and you can't call icing right now. How are you going to be able to do it during a game?
We do the same thing at the seminars with offsides. We have one guy with a stick and a puck, and maybe one other guy that skates with him once in a while to see if you can make the call for offside or onside. So, these are things that referees do in practice, and that's how you start. Because when you're a brand new level 1, it's very hard to just focus on skating out there and everything that goes on. And I don't think coaches can really appreciate this. But I can remember going back to the first couple games I ever worked. I was amazed at how much was done just before the game started. And what I mean by that is, you have to go check the rink, make sure that, all the doors are closed. There's nothing that's been left behind on a dasher. There could have been a public session out there. Somebody could have left skate guards up there or a soft drink or something, on the dasher board. And these are all things that you have to check. You have to set the nets. You've got to peg them if they're over squirt level age. You got to get a score sheet. You got to check the net. You got to make sure there's no pucks left in there. You got to go get the coaches to sign the score sheet and put a phone number on there. You got to introduce yourself to the coaches. This all happens on a 3-minute or a 5-minute warm-up, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to get a couple quick laps in there too. Now, it's second nature to us now. It's like, you can knock that out in 30 seconds. It's not a big deal because we're used to it. But when you're a brand new level 1 official and you have to do all this, it's a lot to take in. I agree. Now you've got to you got to think about your position. You got to look at the clock. You've got to, check everything. You're checking players. You're counting players. There's a lot going on out there that you don't realize that the referees are doing. And, one of the things that I wanted to cover today is...
Don't move on yet.
No. Oh, I can't move on? Okay.
Don't move on yet, because you're on a roll today.
I am on a roll
today.
I get like that, but usually it's more at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, the one thing is that I can give advice, for any new official, tell your partner that you're new.
Yeah.
Okay. They because we work with so many different people. Tell them that you're new. Like if I'm reffing with somebody and they say, "Hey, this is my first game or first 10 games."
Yeah.
All right, I'll take care of the score sheet, or we'll get through it together. But when I do it, I try to get them to do the work, but I guide them through it. And that's something that is that happened for me when I was first officiating, because I remember being out on my first games just like you, Scott. And I remember it was like, how are we going to get all this done?
Yeah.
In this 5 minutes.
It's overwhelming.
And my partner goes, "Don't worry about it. I'm going to run you through it this game," because we had like a 3 set. He goes, "I'm going to run through it. Then we'll do it together." He goes, "Then you're going to do the third game." And it's a guy that had been reffing for, 20 years. And he just had it down pat. And that was all because I said to him, "Hey, I've never done this before."
Yep.
And he's like, "Well, we'll get through it. Don't worry about it." Like, so if
your
you have a
partners
new
will help
official
you
with
guys. Your partners
Right.
will help you, especially if you're a newer official. So if you're a new official watching, take this
Ask
advice
questions.
that is being given to you right now, and it will help you. It'll save you a lot of trouble, and you're going to learn. And after you work a handful of games, these things are going to be second nature to you. You're going to be able to do them very quickly and very easily, and you're going to teach the next guy that comes along. So, or girl, or girl.
And when you talk to the coaches, I know this sounds like a little thing, and a lot of people will be like, "It's not that big of a deal." Try and remember their name.
Yeah.
When it's just like a common courtesy when you go to a restaurant and the server comes up and says, "Hi, I'm Samantha." Instead of yelling, "Hey, you," across the you go, "Excuse me, Samantha." It's just like dealing with the coaches. If you have, Greg on the bench and you're having an issue where he's changing his lines or whatever, you can skate over and be like, "Greg, we having an issue over here." Like it's that little bit of personality that goes into it that sometimes can really save situations in games where you're not trying to insult them, where you come up and say, "Hey, you." Well, yeah, they're already maybe having a bad game. You can't even kind of remember their name for them. I mean, I've gone over to coaches though, and I'm like, "I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but we got to talk about this." And they're like, "Oh, well, it opens up a totally different dialogue." So, be honest, talk, but it's a little thing that goes a long way.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the show before. It's a great idea to write the coach's name. I write them on my thumb because I can look at my thumb all the time, and if I need to, especially if I'm banding. Now, I'm guilty of maybe not doing that if I'm doing a 2-man, but if I'm banding, I want to know those coaches' names, and I want to address them. Because trust me, the coaches know your name, they know who you are, and they will call you by your name, and it sucks when you have to call them back as coach if you don't know their name. It becomes more personal. It makes it tougher for them to get on your case and ride you hard if you know who they are, because they're like, "You know me, I also know who you are, and therefore we're on a different playing field." So it levels it a little bit. And I think that's a really great piece of advice for, any of you guys that don't do that now.
I got a good tip for you too. If you forget the coach's name,
ask
on
one
the way
of the
over,
players.
Ask one of its players. Just say, "Hey, what the
And
heck's
then when
the
they go,
coach's
"I
first
don't
name
know
again?"
either,"
Then you have a problem. But no, you can normally get it. They're normally more than willing to give it up to you, especially because normally they just bleh, or they just react.
They do.
But they'll give it to you. But it's a good way. Plus, now you're interacting with that player as well.
Yeah.
So you're showing them. You're saying to them, "Hey, I don't know the guy's name, but can you tell me it so I can go over there and talk to him?" So you're kind of opening up your own humanity at that point.
And it's a little interaction with a couple of players,
Right.
and that never hurts you down the road. If you have a tough situation, maybe you've had a conversation with this guy today, and the conversation was just light and friendly when nothing was going on. Suddenly you've got a friend, you've got a partner to help you out here that you don't even know that can help you in that situation. And we talk about that with goalies, because goalies are great. Like, "Hey, goalie, oh man, that was a nice save. Oh, that was a great grab." If you're pleasant to that goalie, each time you come get the puck, he's going to hand you the puck. You're not going to have to bend over and pick it up. And for me, I really appreciate that. But when times get tough down there, if you've been nice to that goalie all day and you've been pleasant, he can help you in a tough situation. When a couple of those defensemen won't back off and back down from the situation, he can talk them off the ledge sometimes. So, you got
Agreed.
another person that can help you back there.
No, I agree with you. I like goalies to just chat with as we go.
Yep.
I love the videos of where goalies are flipping out. I really do. I'm sorry for all the goalies out there, but I think that is some of the best stuff. And I've seen goalies do things that are just off the line.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then if you've been talking to them all game, you can turn to them and be like, well, you broke your stick. Do you feel better now? And then they look at you and then they normally start laughing and it's over. Like I get it, but chatting up with the goalies, like you said, is a great way to keep the players, the defensemen, in line. And then if you can, at stoppages, you can kind of chat with the captain if you're a linesman or a referee as they're skating by you or whatever, because the captains then reel in the offense. Yeah. It's funny how that works. So if you can make a little personal connection with them, and it's not, you're not really using it to an advantage. You're just showing everybody that you're human. But then when you're upset, they'll know you're upset as well. Okay. So it goes both ways. So they'll help you and you help them by showing being upset.
So should we continue on this? Can I get off the subject a little bit and just kind of segue a little bit? Because we were talking about like what's appropriate post-game with the coach. We had a conversation last night because, I actually got to thinking, wouldn't it be a great idea for referees and coaches to have like an organized get-together and maybe have a coffee or a beer? I don't care if it's a keg in the parking lot, just to actually get to know some of these coaches. I was thinking about this, and here's where I'm going with this. I have a friend that I played with. He played in Canada, and during the winter season, they played on their regular team that they played with every year. But what they did for spring and summer league was a little different. They grabbed everybody's stick, threw it into the rink, and then the captains went and had to grab like 15 sticks off the ice. Whoever stick you grabbed played on your team the entire spring, summer season. Now, why is that actually a really cool thing? Because if you've been playing against the same guys year in and year out for the last 5 or 6 years, and you've just grown to hate each other and you're ready to kill each other on the ice every time you see each other, all of a sudden that guy may be your line mate or your teammate, and you get to know the guy, and you probably have a few beers during the course of the summer. And all of a sudden, when you go back to playing with your regular team, you may not be as anxious to kill the guy. You might go, he's actually a really good guy. He's a friend now. And it's a little different. It kind of softens things a little bit. It gives you a chance to play with some different people and get to know them. And so my point here was, what if we got to know the coaches just a little bit, where we were more like people. We weren't always in a, butting head situation where, you just exchanged a few pleasantries and chit-chatted about life in general and how things are going and what you do, or, hey, what do you do for a living? I know you coach, or, is this your full-time gig? And you just got to know them a little bit as people. I wonder if that would soften some of the intensity that you have between referees and coaches. Something that I thought about last night, and
like I said to you last night, I totally understand the point. A, to work it out would be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
B, it's just more. It's more time that the officials and coaches would have to invest.
Yep.
Which, if you want to, there's coaches that hang around and you can talk to them before the game, after the game. Before the game's not the greatest.
This would be more in an organized fashion where it's like we can make sure everything is on the up and up, of course. But I'm just saying, like, if there was a seminar for coaching and a seminar for refs at the same time at the same rink, and they decided to have a beer afterwards and chit chat and got to know each other a little bit, I just think that might make it a little bit easier. That's where I was kind of going with that. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments what you think about that idea. If you think that's something that would help make things a little bit easier on the ice sometimes. I'd love to hear your comments.
My thought on it is, if you're an official or a coach that wants to have those interactions, you're going to find time for them at the rink, because you're going to be at the rink. You're going to say, hey, to whoever the official is, you're going to say, can we discuss this, after the game? I would not make a big habit of talking to a coach for a very long time before a game.
Agreed.
Because once again, we're looking at appearance, even though even though you might know both coaches just as well, and you might stop and talk to both of them.
Try to spend equal time at the benches, guys. Don't spend all the time at one bench. I mean, exchange a few pleasantries, and if you did exchange a few pleasantries, make sure you go down to the other bench and exchange a few pleasantries as well, so that it doesn't seem like you're a homer or anything else. I mean, again, it's perception. And even though the coaches may know that there's no issue there, people in the stands don't know that. Parents watching the game don't know that maybe you just happened to work this guy's game yesterday and he had a question about something, and that's why you spent an extra minute at the bench or whatever. They don't know. So, again, that equal balance always looks good, because perception is everything.
Right, and it's for the fans that aren't at every game. Right. You know, let's say, Grandma and Grandpa came. They're the ones that let's say all the parents know who you are, and you've done a million of their games, both teams.
Right.
But Grandma and Grandpa come and they go, "Why is that guy standing there for so long?"
Yeah.
It's a perception thing. It's just like how goaltenders aren't supposed to be in the penalty benches, right? They've made that rule.
Yep.
Because when people watch it, well, why the hell is that guy in the penalty bench and there's no time on the clock? But it's just a perception.
I don't like it because, if you're lining a game or you're reffing and, you only have one clock in the rink and maybe your back is to it and you take a glimpse at the penalty box to see if somebody's still in there, and all of a sudden you see a head in there. It's like, oh, yeah, he hasn't gotten out yet. You can get confused on just on a simple icing.
No, I hear you, because I've been, one time where, let's say the clock's behind you. I get what you're saying. Well, it's easier to turn and look at the penalty bench and see if somebody's in there than it is sometimes to turn and take all your focus away from the one side and look at a clock.
Well, since we've gotten to the clock, I want to change gears here a little bit, because in my 9 years of reffing, nobody's ever said this to me, and we had a conversation the other day about this. And whose responsibility it is to watch the clock to make sure the clock starts?
The official not dropping the puck.
Yes. And it's a really good idea, guys, to be watching that clock, that one of you is always watching to see that it starts on time. And what about when play stops? Who's supposed to watch the clock, Brad?
Well, it's whoever could get their eyes up there, but whoever's further away from the plate.
And I ask you because I don't know the official answer. I thought I'd ask you for an official answer there. But,
the answer for that is anybody that can grab it for the stoppage. But for the starting, if you're dropping the puck, you're already concentrating on enough as is. Plus, we want you to get out of the faceoff safely. You're the other guy standing at the top of the circle. Well, not exactly the top of the circle, but you get what I mean. The top of the zone. You can glance at the clock and make sure that it's going after your partner hasn't been killed.
Because there are a lot of times in a game, well, not every game, but, you've got some scorekeepers that do this pretty regularly, and they're really good at it.
Right.
On the other hand, you got, moms and dads, volunteers that are in the box doing it. And, a lot of times you'll hear a player, oh, the clock's running, or the clock didn't start, and then you glance up. But it's a lot easier if you can catch it, and it just shows you're on top of things to
make a habit of it.
Yeah.
If you're it's the on a 3 or a 4, it's normally the linesman not dropping the puck. In a 2 official system, it's the official not dropping the puck. That's it. It takes no time at all. I mean, all right, checked it.
Yep.
I mean,
it's a really
it's
good
nothing.
habit to get in, guys.
It's just like skating in a 3 official system as the referee, and you're coming down the ice when you're going and leaving the zone. Right, as you get to center ice. Turn back and look at the guys that are back there real quick, that are behind you. Yeah, the linesman's watching them, as you're going up the ice. But that extra head turn takes absolutely minimal effort. It takes no time. And it tells those players, hey, I haven't forgotten about you. And it's a deterrent. It's just like with this clock. Just make sure it runs, because not only that, you're getting compensated for your time. That's one thing, but that's not the ultimate issue.
Yeah.
The ultimate issue is if that clock doesn't start, you're playing extra time in that game. The game is allotted for so many minutes per period. And if 10 seconds, a drop isn't being started, well, now you've added, let's say you have 15 drops in a 15-minute period game, right? You've added 1 minute and 50 seconds of playing time to that game that can ultimately change the outcome of that game, because hockey games change in seconds. Look at the Blackhawks when they won the Stanley Cup. So you don't want to be adding that time because the teams are there to play a game with a specific set of rules.
Right.
And we're there to make sure those rules are upheld as best as our ability as we can. And that includes the clock.
All right. So I want to go back to a couple of comments here because
there's a couple. Yeah,
I don't know
saw
who
that.
this is because they didn't click the link to show their name, but said we had an organized meeting with the Catholic League prior to COVID and plan on doing this again. Captains from each team attended. Hey, I think that's great. I mean, I think that's awesome. And I know that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe some of our IHOA board members actually go out to teams at the beginning of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
It's in the,
And
it's in the comment.
they go through. Oh, okay. Thanks. Oh,
No,
yeah.
so
We
the-
also have IHOA reps speak at each coaching clinic. Well, coaching clinic, yeah. I thought they went out and visited
Coaching
some of the
clinics.
teams individually, and they cover some topics or subjects that coaches or players have questions about. So,
So,
hats
Scott-
off on that. I would love to do that. I mean, I would enjoy going out and addressing the crowd.
So we do that, and I know a lot of the other locals in the area, well, not in just the area, but in the country, they do that as well as a courtesy. Because just talking with some people, I know for us in Illinois, if anybody requests a rep to be there at their parent meeting, their player meeting, we do our best. That's Council that didn't click the link.
Oh, the referee in chief violating the ref room rules here.
Anyways,
What's up, Eric?
But no, we send out reps to any place that wants it. I've done it quite a few times. This year will be a big year with it being a rule change year. It's actually kind of interesting when I talked to somebody many years ago. We normally get more officials that sign up in a rule change year.
Oh, that's interesting.
And they brought it up to me, and I was like, they were like, "Do you have any thoughts on that?" And I'm like, "No, not really." Well, what do you get for free when it's a rule change year?
A rule book. Boom. $7.
I'm just,
Whatever
I'm
it is,
just,
I don't know.
I'm just
There's
telling
a
you,
free
like,
PDF year-round, available 24/7 online.
that's what I said. But
And for those of you that
heard
don't know, there's also 3 manuals that are up there that you should know about. So if you're a newer official, the red
Basic,
manual is the
intermediate, and advanced.
basic, the white is the intermediate, I believe, and the blue one is the advanced. And if
As long
you
as they
don't know
didn't
about
change the
this,
colors.
they talk about a lot about positioning and different things in there. Very important. And if you're a new level 1, when you go to take your first closed book test at a seminar, a lot of the questions will come from that red manual. So you really need to know that because a lot of it is positioning when you're a level 1 trying to move up to a level 2. And of course,
So-
the seminar instructors will, kind of help you, learn some of that material and situations and things to make you better prepared.
But also going back to that, you get a free rule book, but also there's coaches that do it so that they can go in and they get the officiating perspective
Yeah.
from what's being taught. So, because we teach those seminars and we go through all of it. And, I know every rule change year, there's, a bunch of us that get together and we look at it and we're like, what do you think? Well, what do you think? And as a group, we figure it out. If we can't figure it out, we ask somebody else.
Yep.
So
Because there will be stuff that
we get
needs
this,
to be interpreted.
yeah. So we get this little uptick, and it's a funny part. And somebody said it to me many years ago, and I, whatever reason, retained it. But no, and it's an excellent tip with those manuals. You can Google the manuals; they're all on there. I believe they were just rewritten in like 2015. They got a little a facelift. Let's put it that way.
Well, they needed it because face-off dot, some of the rules had changed when it went to 9 dots versus, last play face-off at the location. So,
well, so the manuals, though, going back to them again, they have excellent information that is not in the rule book. Let's put it that way. They have, how to deal with this and that and what USA Hockey is looking for. And they're great pieces of knowledge. And they do really take you through some stuff that you might even have a question about before you get to the rink.
Yep.
Like I believe in the basic, there's still a part in covering score sheets in there. I should go back and reread them just for my own personal knowledge, just because it's been probably 10 years since I've opened them.
Now, speaking of rules change year, which we have coming up now, so the rules will change. And here's a question I guess we can throw out there. You
Ask Eric.
basically only have men's league going on during the summer months. We still got regular hockey going probably through Memorial Day weekend and then some tournaments. But as the rules change, the rule changes take effect, I believe, on August 1st. If I'm not mistaken, don't shoot me the messenger if he's wrong, but I think they take place on August 1st. So the big question is, don't the rules change in men's league starting August 1st, or do they continue through the end of their season with the current
Finish
rules?
out the session.
So that would be a good question for everybody to be on the same page with, and maybe
Yeah, it's tough because they play such a weird schedule in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm going to tell you this as a person that played men's league, because I went through this, playing years ago. Just be ready to have whatever that day. Just go with the flow.
Yep.
It's men's league. Okay. I'm sorry to put down men's league hockey. I'm not putting it down. I think it's a great activity.
I don't care if you played in the NHL or house league. We all end up in men's league.
There are a lot of guys that still play, and they play men's league,
right.
and there are guys that played in the
That's right.
show.
They played in
Some
the
of them that
show,
come out.
and they play men's league. So
no, just I know that it's difficult for officials because now you got one guy doing one thing, one guy doing another.
And,
just try and
this is
figure out what
something,
you're doing
but
together.
Technically, according, I believe, to USA Hockey, and don't quote me, it could be August 1st, could be August 31st. I'm not sure what that date is. I know it's an August date, but the rules do change at that point. And so actually moving forward from that date that they give you, it is supposed to be the new rules.
But you get an email when they change.
Yes. But okay. So I segued again. All right, let's look at some more comments here. Let's see. Mike Anderson checking in. What's up, Mike? How are you? He says, if I see my partner spending too much time with one coach, I'll purposely go spend time with the other, even if it's pleasantries. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's an awesome way of doing it. So good job on that. Max
I've done
Lieberman.
that.
Hey, Max, what's up, buddy?
I'm with Mike 100% to where if your partner gets trapped, because that does happen, you just go make your way over to the other bench and say, hey, he got stuck over there. He's coming. Sorry about that. It's a great way to open up a conversation with the coach as well.
Max says, I've learned that no matter how kind or relatable you are to a coach, he would stab a knife in your back at any moment. Well, Max,
that's not always true.
It's not always true. Just know that coaches, they only see things the way they want to see them that benefit them. And just like players, I mean, that's exactly what it comes down to. You can go, is this red or blue? If it benefits him to be blue, it's blue. If it benefits him for it to be red, it's red. So Brad's shirt, is that blue or red? Well, if it benefits me that it's red, his shirt is red. And it's blue.
Teal.
But it doesn't matter. So that's just how they operate and function. Eric says, Eric, yes.
How to check a net.
How to check a net. Is that a question, I'm guessing? Do we know who that came from? So I don't know if it's a newer official, but the way to check a net, I mean, you want to give the correct procedure, but I mean, typically you want to tip the net up to make sure there's no pucks left underneath. You want to go in the back and you want to pull on the back of the net to make sure that the pucks didn't go between, the lacing and that pad that's in the net. You want to go from one end across the top and the bottom to make sure there's no holes in the net. And if there are,
you want to make sure it's properly attached to the frame.
Yes. And, some places you'll find cracked frames of the nets. I don't want to mention any of those rinks in particular, but it does happen. But you also, guys, should be carrying some skate laces. Your old skate laces, when they're no good and they're worn out, cut them in strips that long. Let me see.
Bigger than the screen.
Yeah, like 8-10 inches or whatever. Keep a couple of them in your pocket. That strings the nets up. We do have some rinks that is their netting. It's whatever the referees have put in there, and that's how the net is held together, is just with old shoelaces.
You know what? I saw one, Scott, hold on. That's actually kind of funny. I was reffing a game, and I saw one somebody had meticulously cut out a square in the net, right? They cut it out, and then they took a piece of netting, probably from like an old net or something, and they put it in there, and then they took the grade
Fifth Third has those. Okay,
I'm pretty sure the hole up. I couldn't believe it. I was astounded.
Yep.
Like I was like,
Yep.
wow, that took somebody way more
and
time.
it
than
looked
needed to
great,
be.
and they stay nice and tight. And that's the other thing, guys. Watching some of these shots go in on these tight nets, the puck comes out faster than it went in sometimes. So be aware of what the netting is at the rink that you're working in, because newer nets, when they put new nets in, they're very tight, and the puck comes out like a springboard.
Well, also, if they have the nets that have the smaller top, like the NHL now, they come out even faster.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa, it like goes in and out.
It is getting very tough for officials. Trust me, to see some of these pucks that are shot because they come out that fast, especially when they go top shelf right underneath the bar. You're listening for the sound. What do they?
You know what they need? Remember the nets in the 70s that had the big bottom? That had like a spike in the middle that, I always thought as a kid, if I fall down, I'm going to get killed if I run into it. You know what I'm talking about? You used to shoot the puck up in the air.
They had the bar in the back of the thing, remember? And the net was, and then the bottom.
It was like a bottom. It had like a ramp. It was.
Yeah.
If somebody could tell me what the hell the point of that was, that would be. Yeah, I don't know if it was just to hold the net up because it was so heavy, or I don't know. I just remember seeing them, and I think Carol Stream was the last one that had them, and it was like, I'm going to fall on this thing and die. Like,
the men's league are a good chance to work out unique rule changes. That's from Steve Drews. Yep. Yeah, and guys, working men's league too, it's a great time to work on your skating, to work on, if you're trying to improve your C-cut on your right leg or on your left leg, every time you come off the line in a men's league, just use that left leg or just use the right leg, or work on your cross under, whatever you're trying to improve on. It's a great place to do that. Let's see, we got another comment here. How to check a net is in the basic manual. No one does it correctly. There you go. That comes from a former, was Steve a referee in chief? I forget. I believe he was. President. That's what it was. Okay. And of course, you guys know Eric Housel, who's watching, is our referee in chief. So behave yourselves.
He's always watching.
He's always watching. He lives on Live Barn. All right. Got a couple other things we wanted to cover. We get this newsletter, guys. I don't know if you see it every month, if it makes through your box, but USA Hockey sends out some questions and answers. And there's one that came in today, and there were some really good questions in there, actually. So let's, I got to kind of cheat by looking over my shoulder here.
I haven't gotten to it yet. So
the goalie has been pulled if the opposing team scores a goal on the empty net while there is an attacking player in the crease. Should the goal be allowed? So that means you have no goalie in the net and you have an offensive player in the crease at the time the puck is shot from outside the crease. Would that be a good goal or not? So put a yes or a no in the comments. We will poll you. No cheating. Just real quickly, you have like 5 seconds to do this, so you can't Google it. Yes or no, that would be a good goal, or no, it would be no goal. Again, that's if offensive player is in the crease at the time the puck is shot in the goal from outside the crease area. Okay.
So
a couple.
So we can't do the old, flip a coin, Scott. Heads I win, tails you lose.
Well, I lose in everything. That's kind of how the show works. So. But I do know the answer. Marty Tom says, yes, that would be a goal. Matt says, there is no crease when the goalie is off the ice. Good goal. Max says, yes, it's a goal. Mason says, yes, it's a goal. And ding, 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 winner, you guys are all correct. That's right, because the goal crease is there to protect the goalie. If the goalie is off the ice, the crease is not necessary. So that's open play for anybody. And yes, that would be a good goal. So that's very good, guys. Next one I wanted to.
I periodically check my texts while we're doing this because people like to send us suggestions as
get a
we go.
private message because they don't want to post up their answer.
No, actually, somebody just brought up an excellent point. We should bring up the passing of Don Jan. I don't know if you know Don.
Oh, I don't know Don.
He was an official for many, many, many years, and a lot of our officials that are what you would consider our higher brass at this point, the gentlemen and ladies that are on more of an executive side of the ice now instead of the young side of skating. Yeah. He did a lot for them, and all of them were very saddened to see him go. I don't know any of the details, but that was an excellent point that was said to me. Yeah, he was a great guy in Illinois, and he did a lot. So everybody knows if you did know who he is. Unfortunately, he did pass away, but he was a great guy. So it was kind of fun later in the years because he's just Facebook friends with me now, and he would see my kids and comment on something that my kids would be doing or whatever. So
nice.
Nice guy, nice individual. Unfortunately, he passed away. So Steve Drews, thank you for the text. That was a great reminder.
Thanks for letting us know, and condolences to his family.
Yep.
On behalf of all of us here.
Sorry, Scott. Go ahead.
That's all right with that. Let me just start on the next one. So, and this, this is really a good question, and I don't know that it's so much for youth, but it's a really good question for men's league guys. Player A accidentally high sticks player B, resulting in a cut with blood. This person says they assessed a major but no game misconduct as it was an accident, and the guy went to help player A immediately to make sure he was okay. He said, I have seen high sticks called without blood or injury as a minor and double minors for blood. The rule states major plus game misconduct for any injury. Is that correct in any situation regarding blood? All right, and we'll give you the official answer that comes from USA Hockey, but, this is a great question because you don't see it as much in youth hockey. At least I haven't seen it in my 9 years, but I do see it in men's league a lot where a guy gets clipped with a stick, and it's usually a guy that doesn't have a visor on, doesn't have a cage, and, what's sad is we wouldn't even be having a discussion in 99% of the men's league situations if the guy even had a shield on, let alone a cage. Nothing would have happened to him. But you do see some guys that get really opened up at a men's league. Pucks come off sticks. They go up the shaft of a stick and get a guy, a deflection, a batted puck, a puck off the post. All kinds of things, crazy things happen, and guys end up getting hit and cut. And some of them are pretty bad. I mean, teeth, chiclets start flying.
It happens. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game.
Sorry.
But my personal opinion, I don't think they should let you play men's league without a minimum of a shield, if not a full cage. That's my personal opinion. And I know a lot of guys will argue with me on that. But nothing good comes from not having one on. And I've seen too many of my friends, even playing high level, playing A and B leagues, that have had their face open up and multiple times. And then they put a shield on and they go a couple weeks and then they take it off again and then they get reopened up. And it's like, again, it's a recurring theme. You're going to see it quite a bit. I think everybody should have a cage on that plays men's league. It would eliminate a lot of that problem. But that wasn't the answer that was on, or that wasn't the question that was asked, and that's not the answer, but I had to throw my 2 cents in. So in the comments, guys, what is the penalty for that situation? According to USA Hockey, is it a 2-minute penalty? Is it a 4-minute penalty? Or is it a different penalty than that? And if so, what is that penalty? If you would put that in the comments, we'll go through some of these.
If you think there's a 4-minute high sticking penalty in USA Hockey, we have to have another conversation.
We got to have another show for that.
We got to have another conversation for that.
Right. That's an NHL penalty, guys. That's the NHL, not USA Hockey. But let's see if we got any comments. Did anybody put anything in there yet?
No.
Oh, they're backing down on this one a little bit. Nobody wants to put a comment in there. We're not going to rip you apart, but let's go through this because again, this is a situation that probably happens in men's league quite frequently. Max Liebern says 2 minutes. Mike Anderson says 5 in a game. I don't know who that is. It might be Drews again. It might be
probably
Steve Drews,
or
5
Eric.
in a game. Yep. Anybody else?
The big
Okay.
thing here is
All right, so-
one word.
Blood.
That blood word.
Blood.
What does it mean?
It's an
Injury.
It's an injury.
What does USA Hockey say?
5 in a game.
5 in a game
five-
anytime there's an injury.
5 in a game.
All right, Scott, I got a good one for you. All right. Same situation, but the guy's on a breakaway.
Well, because it's a major penalty, you have the penalty shot coming, and he serves the 5 in a game penalty as well. So it's
Correct.
actually both. It's probably the worst penalty you can get because the guy is going to get a penalty shot, and he's going to get the 5-minute major on top of it. And I know I know that because of a state playoff game where a very aggressive 5-minute slashing call was called on a breakaway. The player took a baseball bat swing and took the guy down and injured him. So he got the penalty shot and he got the 5-minute penalty for the slash. And if he was injured, he got the 5 in a game. So that's one of the reasons why I know that. And again, that's a unique situation, and a lot of times that's the best way. It didn't happen on my sheet of ice, but I heard about it in the ref room, not this ref room, but the ref room. And it's something that stuck with me because it's a severe penalty, probably the most severe penalty we have in hockey, I think, aside from a match penalty. But I mean, on the ice where you're getting a penalty shot and you're getting a 5-minute major after. So it's a good one to remember, guys.
All majors have to be served to completion.
That's correct.
So
All right, so let's move on. I got another one here. Which you want to keep going on
Scott,
this?
let's save it for the next week because the
Well,
hour's up.
Oh my gosh, we flew through time. Let's just do one more, okay? We'll stick
All
around
right.
for one more. But I do want to ask the question, like, what's your thoughts personally, personal opinion, men's league game with a guy, if they want a 5 in a game, if he had a cage on, you wouldn't even have a discussion.
Yeah, but that's within their players' rights. They
I
can
know.
wear, if they don't
I
want to
know.
wear it, they don't have to. You know
Okay.
what? You wouldn't be having this discussion if the guy that hit him kept his stick down.
That's very true. Okay.
You know,
All
it's
right.
just like in the comment here, where does USA Hockey says blood equals an injury? Blood is an injury just in general. Sorry to tell you. Like,
Well, actually, I got 2 more I wanted to go through, but let's go through this one.
save them for next week. Save them
No.
for next week. Seriously.
You
Yeah.
don't want to do one more? All right.
I'll end the hour here.
Okay. All right, guys. Brad says we're done. He says enough. That's it. Stop. All right. Based on that, we will end it right here. We want to thank you guys for joining us. Don't forget that we do this every single Wednesday. We start at noon. And if you like the show and you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/refroom to help support the show. It does cost us a little bit
Happy
of money to
birthday
do this
again.
every month. Happy birthday to Frank Pilati. Wish you a very happy birthday, Frank. Miss seeing you. Haven't seen you in a while on the ice. But with that, thanks for joining us, guys. The replays are up there on YouTube and Facebook. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please do so. And let's see if...
Thanks for watching The Ref Room. If you have an idea for an upcoming show or guest, hit us up. Just email us, refroombrad@gmail.com.
Don't hit us up. Don't hit us up. Send Brad that email.
Send me the email. Whatever.
He can,
Maybe
he can
the
read
person-
those while he's eating his peanut butter and jelly sandwich, okay?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
so-
have a good week out there.
All right, guys.
The ladies and gentlemen that are
ladies.
working nationals,
Oh, yeah.
good luck. It's going to be some busy time for y'all.
Yeah.
And if you have something weird happen, it might become a rule.
Yeah.
So
That's
just
right,
remember
'cause
that.
They do get to
So-
see those things, and they do get to remember them as well. I'm sure they take notes.
Yeah.
so-
Well, and think about it. The nationals are happening right now, and they're you have to wait in order to propose a rule, though. That's
Yeah.
the only problem.
So now
it
they have
would
to
be a
wait
while.
4 years to be able to propose that rule change. So, keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe you affected a rule 4 years from now. All right, guys,
All right.
with that, thanks for joining us. We will see you next week right here on the Ref Room. Peace out.